spoken it all. We have, I think, walked through the journey. We have looked at challenges, state of mind, roles and responsibilities, busted some myths as well. But what is that? Where do we want to see ourselves? What is that paradigm shift that we are looking at? So for any shift, of course, it is a change in the mindset, right? A change in the mindset will yield those new results. And what is that paradigm shift that I'm talking about over here? Is that a mom at work, which is a topic of discussion today, should tomorrow move to a parent at work. We talk about an equal world. We talk about, sharing responsibilities. So I think with this, we will address a lot of the root cause of why women end up shouldering a lot of the responsibilities. And with that, I think a man's world, which is how it is perceived today and real to a large extent, will change to an equal world. Now, how can this happen, right? This cannot happen just by itself. So I think this needs to happen in tandem with these three pieces coming in together, syncing up and moving alongside. Change in corporate. To talk a little about this, as I was thinking, so change in corporate could mean, let's say we relook at some of our policies. And as I said, mom at work can change to parent at work. Let's take one step back, before the mom thing happens. So we have maternity leaves, and if you see, there are many countries where today it is called a parental leave. It's not really a maternity leave. So I think the progression should happen towards that. And where is it going to really help? I mean, I've been in HR industry, and I know very often, when hiring managers want to hire for a position or recruiters are looking, I mean, while we do not want to accept it, but the moment we see a profile of a woman, and especially, if she's just married, not having kids yet, is what if she goes on a maternity leave? Can we put her into an important project that we are hiring for? Will it be okay? Now, let's look at the same situation, same profile with the parental leave policy. It can be anyone taking that parental leave. It could be the father or it could be the mother. So that is where I think an equal world will start to kick in. Change in family, I think it's not just, I mean, while the outside world needs to change, the inside world also needs to change to then make it a more conducive environment and an equal world. So I think the mindset in the family needs to change from the primary caregiver being the mother, what will the child do without the mother, to accepting that working moms are going to be the norm. I mean, women want to be independent. Women want to, showcase all the talents that they have. They want to move forward. But that does not mean that they do not like the family side. All they probably want is support. So I think that change in family mindset should happen. I think people should be okay to see fathers taking responsibilities with, there shouldn't be any taboo around, today if you see a man managing the house and a woman outside, oh, you are, your wife is working and you're not, have you worn bangles, there are such statements. But I think I'm hoping with this, the mindset change slowly, we will move towards a more equal world if that change happens in family as well, and it's a collective effort. The third thing, in fact, is the most important thing, which is change in self. I think as women, we need to change a few things. I think we need to drop that entire burden that we have been shouldering of, epitome of sacrifice, or probably, epitome of love and the superwoman tag and so on. I think we need to just drop that, because at least from my experience, having dropped those tags has had absolutely no impact on my motherhood side. So we need to drop that. We need to drop the guilt. Our kids will do absolutely fine in spite of all of this. Kids can do fine with the fathers as well. I mean, fathers are equally capable of managing kids. So, and I have seen women who have left their kids and gone for further education. I've seen women who have left their kids on, maybe assignments for about 2 years, and they come back. And I think it just makes our next generation realize how they can be. It's just going to make them better human beings. So I think this is the paradigm shift that I would hope to see, and which means the desired state will not be women with these multiple hands for sure. I think we can leave them with those two hands that God has given them, and probably have multiple hands of different people joining together, playing their part of bringing up a child, because child is our future. Without children we cannot move forward. I mean, they are required, and I think all of us need to understand that, but we need to join hands to have those multiple hands and not really burden it on just one person. So this, I would say, would be the desired state in my mind, and I'm sure we will arrive at that state very soon. So with this, I think I've covered all my experience with the overall working and the motherhood side and the professional side. I would now like to probably talk a little about parenting my little fellow, who is 7 years old, and it has been a journey of learning for me as well, as I have progressed through and I continue to learn. So an attempt at motherhood is what I would like to now explain, my journey, my experience, and what I have tried to basically inculcate in my son, with the hope that it's going to make him a better person. So I'm a nature lover, and hence you see the huge massive tree over here, and I love trees because it just amazes me to see how deeply grounded they are, with the roots going so down, and with that how well they evolve on the outside, and the vastness of the tree, and also the endurance with which it stands through all the different turbulent situations. So the learning it gives me every time when I look at a tree is that what is important is the foundation that we lay. What are those values we are inculcating? Because situations will not be very conducive always. There could be many turbulent situations, but what's important is how do we grow the plant into a tree such that it can live through all those different situations. So here is few things that I try as a part of laying that foundation. One, I try to be as real as possible with my son. And what do I mean by this? So if I am not feeling well, maybe my son asks me, Mama, I want a sandwich, and I'm absolutely not keeping well. I'm not going to put up the hat of a very sacrificial and very, absolutely caring mom, but I'm going to be very real. And I'm going to tell him that I'm not keeping well. Maybe you could make a sandwich for yourself, or the alternate is probably I'll just order something. So the homemade food and all of that just goes out of the window for me. And I make him understand that, this is my current state of mind. Similarly, if I am going through a bad day, if my son comes in, I just let him know. Instead of, I know that possibly I'll end up yelling at him and, making his day bad, but I just tell him, what, I think you need to stay away from me for a bit, because the reality is that I'm going through a very turbulent, phase right now. So I believe in being real, and I expect him to be as real with his feelings and emotions, so that we do not have a made up situation, but it is actually a true situation. The second thing is being open. I believe in being as open with my son as possible, open about the topics that we discuss, open about discussing anything that he sees. Today, we stay in a world of technology. I mean, they have access to every single information, all type of videos. What is important is to be open. So we also open that channel of communication, addressing questions. So there's nothing that is hidden from them. And if there is anything, they know that, okay, I can fall back on my mom because she's going to tell me what it is. There's nothing that can remain hidden. Build trust. This is, I think this is a very sensitive piece, because the way I have seen in my journey, there are times when even a little bit of impact to this piece has a big imprint on the child's mind. So it's on a very sensitive string. It takes time to build trust, but I think it is important that we build trust slowly, steadily, and with caution. And to give an example, like I had sent my son for a camp, a 3-day camp, and he was the only 7-year-old. And I told him that it's okay, you can go. If you really need me, I will be there for you. So on the second night, he felt, that he was absolutely uneasy, because every kid over there were about 9 years plus. So he called me and he said, I think, Mama, you should come. I can't manage. And he started crying. Now, I could have left him, or I could have just rushed immediately. But what I told him is that you continue through the night and I will be there for you. And I ensured that I don't break his trust. So I went over and, I was there. So very small thing. This is nothing big. I mean, I think every parent would do it. But these are those small steps that we would take towards ensuring that we build the trust with them. So tomorrow they have any problem, they just don't run away. They face it, but they also let us know and get directions as to how to face it. Dedicated time, like I said, I am a hardcore believer of this dedicated time, so I won't dwell further on it. Expression of love, I mean, sometimes I think I literally suffocate my son because he's just 7 years old. So I would cuddle him up and, shower him with kisses and so on. But what's important is I keep telling him that I love him. I mean, there are times that he would make blunders and I would have yelled at him. But the next moment, I let him know that he's loved as well. And I express it so that he's aware of it. And he needs to realize that there are some actions that are driven because of the love and care that's there. So of course, he's 7 years now. He lets me do all of it. Tomorrow, I need to find other ways of expressing love to him. But I think these are the few things that I absolutely focus on, and I try not to deviate. And this is all done with the hope that I would be then inculcating some of these beautiful values which will bloom within, like responsibility, equality, honesty, respect, integrity, compassion, independence, and to live life to the fullest and have a lot of fun. So, but while all of this is there, there are a few things that have an absolute no place in my house. To start with, one is gender segregation. I mean, unconsciously, there's a lot of gender segregation that happens, and I ensure that it completely stays out of my house. Like, for example, emotions, no gender. Household chores have no gender. Toys, games, absolutely none, no gender at all. Hobbies have no gender. Grooming and self-care, it should just be applicable to all. I mean, I think it's a good thing to do. Choice of colors, pink is for girls, blue is for boys. No, I think anybody can have a choice of their color. Knowledge has no gender. I've often heard people saying, you are a boy, you don't need to know this. You can go, this is more for girls. I don't think so. I think knowledge is just power. It's important. It's good to have knowledge. So with knowledge, then the right choices, right decisions, and right behaviors can come in. And freedom has no gender. I mean, we have all heard about, oh, you're a girl, you shouldn't be stepping out at this so and so time. I believe that, there should be precautions. There should be probably guidance in terms of how, but I think the freedom should be there for all, and it should not have a gender segregation. The next thing is discrimination, which has no place in my house, and I completely keep it out of it, which is social status discrimination, religion, financial status, color, ability, performance. And, how I address this, like, for example, social status, I ensure I have family time with my household heads who would come over for dinner, and we spend time, we eat at the same table to ensure that there's absolutely no discrimination around social status. So different ways, but while I keep all of these things out of my house, I ensure my son has an awareness of the existence of all these things in the outside world.